Dear freshman me, 4 years, 144 weeks, 720 days. Waiting for you to come along and experience for yourself. Welcome to high school. You'll start off high school as a shy, insecure 14-year-old. You can't for the life of you act normal around your crush. You're kinda awkward and you prefer to stay under the radar. Don't worry, it's all going to get better in time. Just trust the process. You'll definitely take a little bit of time to adjust to high school. It's going to feel pretty different from what you've known so far. And that's okay. Take it easy. Around November, you're going to get hit by a sudden sense of burnout. You'll feel a lack of motivation and purpose. It's going to be scary. You'll feel like you're not quite sure what the point of everything is. Please know that it will be alright. You will make it out, I promise. You'll slowly climb out of this hole by really getting in touch with yourself. You'll start exploring new interests and spending time on things that you find you enjoy. Gradually, things will start turning around. Looking back, you won't be able to pinpoint when exactly things got better, but you'll come to realize at a certain point that you've made it out, and I'm so proud of you for that. As the year goes on, you'll grow even closer to your group of best friends that you're so lucky to have. You guys have known each other since middle school, and you'll make so many good memories as high school progresses. Cherish those memories, and always be grateful for your friends. I don't know where I would be today without them. At the end of freshman year, in your health class, your teacher will have everyone create a roadmap of their goals for the future. Towards the bottom of your map, you'll pencil in 4 numbers, 2020, the year you'll graduate. Next to it, you'll write, I hope to go to UCLA, which is my dream college. It would mean the absolute world to you if you were to be accepted. Will you make it in? Only time will tell. As sophomore year begins, you're getting tired of letting your shyness stop you from getting involved in things you're interested in. You'll decide to start inching out of your comfort zone this year and start exploring your passions. You'll apply to become an officer in certain clubs that interest you. Having no prior leadership experience, you'll feel extremely intimidated, but there's a voice inside you that will tell you to push through. You'll get interviewed for the first time and, yeah, it'll be kind of painful, but you'll be proud of yourself for putting yourself out there. And as it turns out, you'll be chosen as grade representative in 2 clubs, Computer Science First Club and Math Club. In September, you'll be given the chance to start an art and literary magazine at your local library. You'll be so excited about the idea. As a kid, you used to make your own magazines out of stapled printer paper, which you draw and write in. So in some ways, creating this library magazine will be a dream come true. At the same time though, it'll seem really intimidating. It'll scare the hell out of you. And yet, you'll hesitate only slightly before deciding to take on the project, becoming founder and editor-in-chief of what will become Inspiration, a quarterly magazine that publishes the art and writing of teens in the community. Over the next few months, you'll gain so much leadership experience as you put together a team of editors, work out funding, go around town putting up flyers to promote your magazine, host meetings, and ensure everything is going smoothly. After months of hard work, the debut issue will come out in the spring, and you'll always remember how proud you'll feel at seeing your efforts come to fruition. Sophomore year will always be home to some of your favorite memories with your friends, from watching rallies together to laughing your heads off at some dumb video. Shout out to that one time I laughed so hard that I cried, and then I had to ask a librarian for a tissue. As the year winds down, executive officer applications for Computer Science First Club will open, and you'll have an internal debate about whether or not to apply for president. It'll sound like such an interesting and fun opportunity, but you won't be sure if you're capable of leading a club. In the end, you'll convince yourself to go for it, because honestly, why the hell not? And when results come out, you'll be chosen as president. Over the summer, you'll start teaching yourself the guitar. You'll learn easy songs at first, and then you'll try your hand at songwriting. It'll become a way for you to spill your emotions as time goes on. And then, the notorious junior year arrives. This is going to be the toughest year of your high school experience. You'll go through a lot of low points this year. Nights spent staying up until 4 a.m., studying for test after test. Unfair teachers. Difficult curriculum. You'll frequently question and doubt yourself. Are you even capable of all these goals you've set for yourself? Don't listen to that inner demon. You're a strong fighter and you're going to prove it wrong. You're going to cry over your physics homework at one point or another. That's kind of just an inevitable fact. Physics was never your strongest subject. But you'll dust yourself off, and you'll eventually grasp the content, finishing the class with straight A's. You've always taken your grades very seriously, and junior year is really going to put that to the test. Sleep or study, health or grades. You'll end up sacrificing a lot for your grades, because you want to maintain that perfect GPA and get into your dream school next year. I get it, but I want you to know that taking care of yourself is just as important, if not more important. It's good to be ambitious and determined, but please, don't forget to make time for yourself and your well-being too. And don't base your self-worth off your grades. You are not some letter or percentage. Spoiler alert, you will finish the year with a perfect GPA. I'm proud of you for that, because I know just how tough it will be and just how close you'll feel to giving up at times. All those nights you'll push through, and all the times you'll pick yourself up after a breakdown, and all the times you'll show up to school on 3 hours of sleep. You'll make it through, I promise. You'll join your school newspaper as a staff writer after wanting to do so for years. You'd always been too afraid of doing so because of how much interviewing and talking to strangers would be involved. But you decide, almost on a whim, that you'll try it out anyway. What you won't know in that moment is that it'll turn out to become one of your best decisions in high school. You'll always remember showing up to your first ever assignment at the school board meeting, with a camera slung across your neck and your insides fluttering with nervousness. No interview experience, and somehow you'll have to make it through without any help. You'll manage to pull it off flawlessly, landing a great interview with a board candidate. From that point on, you'll start enjoying the process of doing interviews. You'll conduct 8 interviews and write 2 articles per month, all of which make it into publication. Over the year, you'll sharpen your interpersonal skills and open your mind to the perspectives of so many people you wouldn't normally talk to. By the time editor-in-chief applications open, you'll be ready to give it a shot. After an interview, you'll be chosen alongside one of your best friends, Michelle, as the new editors-in-chief for the upcoming school year. You've come so far, and you're going to be so excited for what this next step holds in store. Junior year is also going to be your first year as president of Computer Science First. You're going to make mistakes along the way. There's going to be people who criticize you, and you're going to do your best to make them feel like their concerns are being heard and addressed, but it's not always going to be easy to please everyone. Don't be too hard on yourself. I know you tend to be a perfectionist, but let yourself make mistakes. Allow yourself to forgive yourself. Learn from it and move on. You aren't going to be a perfect leader, but you can choose to have a positive mindset and always be open to improving yourself. You'll get your braces off after 5 years. Finally, no more fear of breaking off a bracket when you eat or having stuff stuck in them. Summer after junior year, you'll finally get your driver's permit. Now you're one step closer to being able to drive. In July, your family will go on a road trip to visit a few colleges. First stop, UCLA. As you walk onto campus, you'll find yourself imagining being able to attend this school in a year. That's right, you've only got a year left before you leave for college at this point. And just like that, senior year rolls around. In almost the blink of an eye, you've finally come to rule the school. You have high expectations for this year, and you can't wait for all the memories you hope to make. The funny thing about life is, it doesn't always go as expected. Senior year will definitely be that way, as you'll slowly start to realize throughout the year. It's a bit of a shaky start. One of your favorite teachers will tragically pass away just 3 days into the year. It'll be hard for you to accept, and the initial shock will take a while to wear off. As your school celebrates his life, you'll start to realize just how precious and fragile our lives really are. You'll promise to yourself to live more in the moment instead of worrying over small, inconsequential things. You'll never forget all the things your teacher instilled in you, from course content to life lessons. He'll always inspire you. You'll attend senior sunrise, an annual tradition at your school. And sitting there on the grass with your friends, you'll feel optimistic and hopeful for what the new school year is going to bring. You know that this is going to be the last year that you get to see your friends every day, and you want to make the most out of it. This is going to be your second year as president of Computer Science First Club, and you're going to do a lot better than you did that first year, because of all the things you learned during the first year. See, mistakes are a necessary part of growth. As the weeks go by, the elephant in the room is going to start becoming more and more unavoidable. The dreadful process that is applying to college. You'll decide to apply to 13 schools, all as a computer science major. The process is going to be long and arduous. You'll receive your first acceptance to one of your safety schools on November 19th. It's going to be a small reassurance to you as you finish up your University of California application. Thanksgiving break 2019. Looking back, you'll hardly remember anything else besides stressing over your UC essays in those last few days before the deadline. You'll write countless versions of your essays, scrap them, and rewrite even more drafts. You'll cry and break down in the middle of doing so. It's okay, hang in there. I know it's hard because you'll feel like your future depends on this application. Those essays will make up your application to UCLA, where you've wanted to go since day one. But you have to let yourself relax. You'll try your very best, and then you'll click submit, knowing that no matter what happens, you gave it your best shot. And the journey is more important than the end result. That moment when you finish submitting all of your college applications will feel like a huge burden being lifted off your back. You've been preparing for college for so long, and you'll feel so relieved that the process is finally over. The decade will end soon. As 2019 draws to a close, you'll start to think about the implications of that. The 2010s witnessed your growth from childhood into adolescence. You grew up and matured a lot in these formative years. And now, the 2020s will approach. What will the new decade bring? You'll be so excited to start a new year and a new decade. And most importantly, 2020, your graduation year, will finally be here. As the new year starts, you'll begin looking for a job after thinking about doing so for months, eventually landing 2 tutoring jobs. You'll turn 18, officially marking your entry into adulthood. You'll feel a mix of emotions at this milestone. You won't quite feel all grown up, but you'll also know that you aren't exactly a kid anymore. As the famed second semester senior year begins, you'll feel like you finally reached the best part of high school. Grades won't matter as much anymore, classes will get easier, and most of all, you'll be creating some of your best high school memories during these next few months. You'll start hanging out with your friends a lot more, going on chaotic adventures that vary from hanging out at boba shops to messing around in Target. You'll look forward to prom, the grand night trip to Disneyland, graduation, walking across that stage with your friends, celebrating all of your achievements throughout the past week. That thing that starts with a C that I can't mention by name, thanks you to, will start to make its way across the globe. It'll start off slowly, then, without warning, it'll speed up, exponentially. You'll watch as your city and cities across the world go into various modes of social distancing and lockdown. Thousands upon thousands of people will fall ill. Many will die. You'll feel anxious and afraid in these uncertain times. Your last day of high school will come unexpectedly. On March 13th, 2020, you'll walk out of 6th period not realizing that it will be your last ever day of high school. School will get cancelled for 2 weeks at first, then a month, and then through the end of senior year. All of a sudden, your vision of what second semester would look like will fly out the window. Instead of prom and graduation, you'll have Zoom calls and online school. You'll feel really disappointed about missing out on what you've been looking forward to for all of high school, even though you know that you are privileged just to be safe and healthy during these times. But in the midst of everything, something very important is going to happen to you. March 20th, 2020, UCLA Decision Day. Your Forever Dream School will release its admissions decisions today. That whole day, you'll feel nervous and anxious, constantly refreshing your portal even though you know decisions won't be out until late afternoon. You'll open up your application and reread it just to pass time. And then, at 5:27 p.m., you'll log in successfully, and your eyes will well up as you read the words, "Congratulations, you're UCLA bound." You'll run out of your room crying, met by your mom, who opens her arms to you. You'll have finally achieved something you've dreamed about forever. And then, before you know it, it will be May. Senior year will start to wind down. You won't get to go through the traditional end of high school traditions, and you'll always be a little bit sad about that. But you'll know that in the grand scheme of things, you are very blessed and lucky. You'll find yourself starting to think a lot about the past 4 years. You'll reflect on everything you've learned and experienced, everything you've grown from, and most importantly, all the carefree moments you spent in those halls just laughing with your best friends. You'll look back and realize that you'll be such a different person by senior year compared to who you are right now, at the start of high school. The biggest theme of your high school experience will be breaking out of your comfort zone. Just by having the courage to step out of the familiar into the unknown, you're going to open yourself up to so many incredible and rewarding opportunities that you never imagined. As cliche as it sounds, you'll learn to dare to dream, because once upon a time, you didn't think you could achieve all the things you'd end up achieving by senior year. And even more than that, you're going to become so much more confident in yourself and start appreciating yourself a lot more. I'll be honest, self-love is still a very much work in progress for me, but I've come a long way. You'll also start thinking a lot about the future. You'll start seeing your dreams as clear goals that you're going to dedicate yourself to. No longer will they be just far-fetched daydreams. You're going to make them happen. You'll feel hopeful about the future and start believing more and more in yourself and your potential. But for now, focus on what's ahead of you. Go out there and make the most out of high school. Hold on to every memory. Cherish your friends and family. Believe in yourself, take risks, move out of your comfort zone, and above all else, stay true to who you are. Best of luck out there. Love, your future self.